From Studio 3 at Buzz TV, it's The Horse's Mouth with Tom McManus.
All right, time now for Campo's Corner here on The Horse's Mouth, brought to you by our good friends at YOLO Rum. You only live once, and it's 5 o'clock somewhere with that rum. Great to have them on board. Get into a little Jags talk like we do each and every week here on The Horse's Mouth. Let's welcome in Coach Campo once again. Hey, Coach.
Tom.
How are you, my friend?
Good to see you. I'm good.
It's
I'm
good
very
to
good.
see you. So OTAs in full swing. It's funny, the hype machine's out. You know, guys are getting open on air. Quarterback hits them. Everyone's like, wow, look at that throw and play. Nobody's covering. Nobody's rushing. But out of OTAs, what do you, as a head coach or even your position coach, secondary coach, what do you expect to get out of the OTAs?
Well, the first thing you want to get is you're looking at guys and what they can do. For example, I think one of the ways the Jaguars this year have improved themselves is they have a number of guys that can do different things.
Multiple things,
they
right?
They can be a safety, they can be a nickel, they can do those kind of things. So you're doing that. There's really not a depth chart. So what you're looking at that, and really with the younger guys, you're throwing. We've tried to throw everything we could at them, and then you're going to do it again when you go to training camp. So what you want to see is what guys can pick up what in the meeting rooms, and then on the field, are they transitioning that from the meeting room to the field?
Well, we got a brand new defense coordinator, brand new terminology, brand new system. So not just everybody's learning on that side of the ball something new, and that terminology may be a little bit different, and that's what you got to really figure out as a player.
No question about it. I heard this morning, listening to some interviews that they had with guys, and that was the biggest thing. Mitch Morse, for example.
Sure.
He said, look, I'm learning my teammates, I'm learning what the guys are doing next to me and all that kind of stuff. But it's different because it's completely different terminology than I used in Buffalo. So I'm really rejuvenated in a way because I have to do something at the end of my career.
Yeah, and the more you know, the more confident you play.
Absolutely.
Right? If you're guessing out there, you're not going to be playing very well.
Right.
Back to Ryan Nielsen. I like what I'm hearing about him. Doug Peterson raving about him. Very hands-on, gets involved, very accountable. The accountability is a big thing. I read where last year when he was with Atlanta as their DC, they were in man-to-man coverage for 60%, almost 60% of the time. Jacksonville, contrary, was 30% under Mike Caldwell. So a big, big difference in what we play. Caldwell was zone. The zone only works if you have consistent pressure. You and I both believe that. Right. Man-to-man, look, you can dictate a lot of things, but you still need the pressure. How much man do you think we're going to see under Nielsen?
Well, I think we're going to see quite a bit of it, not just pure man. Their number one coverage from what I saw on film last year was what we called cover 4. The two corners on the outside are basically man-to-man on certain routes. Not all routes, but certain routes.
Sure.
The underneath coverage, the 3 linebackers use what we call match zone, meaning if you got a tight end here and you got a back here, if they cross each other, you pass them off. If they go out, you sit on those guys, but you're still looking at the quarterback. So you could consider that man, but it's matchup zone.
Yeah, it was almost like, in layman's terms, like it's zone, but when they come into your zone, that's your man.
Absolutely.
Right, you got him. So if I drop in the hook, just, right by, and the tight end sits down next to me, I don't just stand there. I take him. I got him now. That's my guy. And if he vacates, I got to look for somebody else. And you don't want to vacate the zone.
And that's right. And it's even more than that because you divide the team into the ones, the 2 wideouts, number 2, whoever it is, a tight end, number 3 is a back. Well, though your linebackers are dropping, that Sam linebacker is told you're dropping off the outside of 2 and 3. The middle backers dropping off the inside of 2 and 3. So they're actually seeing where those guys are going. Before you actually set up off of them, and now you try to kind of stay close, and it's a lot closer than spot drop where you're just going to a hook or a curl
zone and then just
trying to read the quarterback.
Yeah, right, which is hard to do.
Absolutely.
To stop anything.
If you don't have the pressure.
If you don't have pressure.
Absolutely.
All right, so people that are listening to the show that are sitting going, all right, what's quarters, what's this? Let's just simplify it for them. We'll just get man-to-man is man-to-man. I've got a man, he's my guy all over the field, I've got him. Maybe there's an in and out if they're stacked. We work that out in communication. But for the most part, I've got a man, I take him across the board. Cover 2, cover 3, and cover 4. So for the audience out there, cover 2 is 2 deep. Safeties are 2 deep. Cover 3 is 3 deep. Right? And then cover 4 is quarter. So you have those 2 guys up front and then the 2 in the back. 4 and 2 always seem kind of similar.
Yeah,
right?
The difference is in cover 2, those safeties are pure half cover players.
Half cover, right.
And they're looking at routes to determine how quickly they get into that deep half. For example, if the corners in cover 2 are rerouting guys.
Right.
Okay. Well, if a receiver releases outside the corner, that safety has to get more depth to be able to overlap.
Right.
If he releases inside, you slow down a little bit so that you can break on throws.
Okay.
Okay. If you're in cover 4, you're reading routes to determine whether or not those 2 safeties can help the corners.
Right.
Or if they have to stay on somebody vertical. So if all 4 go vertical, all four of them are vertical.
Right.
But if the number 2 that the safety's reading off of goes out, that safety can double the wide out with the corners on number 1.
Absolutely.
So it's a little bit more, like I say, 4 is kind of a man-zone combination defense, whereas cover 2's a zone defense with reroutes on receivers.
With guys up tight, pressing the wide receiver, making sure they just don't get a free
jamming
run.
them, working them off the line, and then playing the outside flats of the coverage.
Cover 3 is I never really like cover 3. Because it's the least passive, right? It's so passive, and you have to have pressure.
Yes.
Because in look, every zone there's a hole, which means somebody's open.
Right.
No matter how you play it in the secondary, but with pressure you can shorten the hole.
Correct.
Right.
Yep.
So if you don't get any pressure, those holes, cover 3. I mean, it's like they're wide open if there's a hole, and
well,
there's no pressure.
The corners are off, and they're soft, and they're they're reading through to the quarterback. So it's just a softer way of playing people in their zone, for example. And then the linebackers are spot dropping, meaning they're going to certain points on the field.
Curl, flat.
Yes. And the problem with that is if you don't get a lot of good pressure, those guys, the receivers are taught. Kelsey, guys like that. If he sees you over there, he's going over here.
He just stops.
It's just a different deal altogether. A lot of people are what we call bastardizing cover 3 to where they're turning it into kind of match drops as well. Wow. And those are things that they're doing. A lot of people in the league are doing that.
So that's to confuse the offense. Am I in cover 3? Am I in cover 4? You don't know because
they're
of the way
still
I'm
in a 3 deep, but the underneath guys are fooling around with what they're doing a little bit more.
You know, so you hear how complex it can be, but you got to simplify it sometimes, right? Because you can't, like we talked about it, you can't be thinking out there, and especially in coverage. You got to know. You just got to know what cover 2. Here's what I got. Cover 3, 4, man, whatever the case may be. I'll tell you this, though, Jacksonville fans, you're going to see more aggressive coverage from Ryan Nielsen, 2, 4, and man. Correct?
Absolutely.
Yep.
And I think the biggest thing is that you know the one thing you have to know, are you rolling the secondary to one receiver? Right. You know, if one guy knows it, the other guy doesn't know it, you got a problem. Those are the kind of things that they're working on right now. They want to make sure, look, back in the day, and I would say Jacksonville, we were the same way, but when we were in Dallas and Jacksonville and Cleveland, because I was a coordinator in Cleveland. Get guys on the field knowing what they're doing. That's more important than being able to fool you and that guy and this guy. Make sure the guys, when they know where they're going, they can play that technique. So simple is easier, but it all starts with the front. And that's where Nielsen is got to be a factor. His intensity and all that is getting pressure on the corner.
Well, I like what he's saying about that pressure too. Like, yes, it's pressure, but my corners that are playing press can help with pressure because those wide receivers aren't getting off on a clean route.
Absolutely.
That goes hand in hand.
Absolutely.
Right? No question. I think this defense is going to be fun to watch. I tell you what, if they figure out that 4th D lineman, whether it's Hamilton, the 2 rookies, I don't care who it is, Mason Smith, who could be. I mean, if he gets it all together, you were saying, Coach O was saying, gets it all together, kid could be total beast. So that could come together. We get that defensive line, that front, man, the coverage is going to look beautiful, especially when we're dictating. You got to dictate to the offense. You can't sit back and read and react all the time. You can to mix it up and, confuse them. But I like attacking, man. Go dictate the defense to that offense and make them earn every single yard.
Absolutely. And I think one of the things they've done is that, when you just have front four.
Yep.
You got a problem because they get tired over the course of the game. I think the one thing that they've done is that they've improved the rotation, hopefully.
Yeah.
And that, to me, is how you keep the pressure on the quarterback all the way through to the fourth quarter.
You need 2 lines of 4.
Absolutely.
Right, don't you? You need 8 guys on that D-line that can roll in and roll out as needed.
Absolutely.
All right, Coach, always great, man.
Yes,
you're the man.
fun.
I love talking ball with you.
I love talking ball.
I know, it's the best. It's the best. I love it. We do it each and every week here on the Horse's Mouth with Campo's Corner and Coach Dave Campo. Until next time, y'all stay safe out there and be cool. And we'll see you right here on the Horse's Mouth. Cheers.
Cheers.
Even though we do have 2 different liquors, it's still one name. It's Yolo Rum, and at the end of the day, it's how you feel. And Yolo Rum, you only live once, and that's more prevalent. That's becoming more prevalent as far as the attitude and the mindset with how people live their lives. And it's not about how it used to be as far as people doing dumb stuff out here. It's more of they're understanding the value of their life. And if we can bring that presence of the meaning behind life and what it means to fulfill whatever you need to fulfill in your life that makes you feel enjoyable about what you're doing, that's what YOLO will bring out as well.